overcoming, adapting, and improvising. This is my invitation to share some personal stories and learning how to overcome things in life. Circumstances, life's always going to throw us a curveball. So, have this glass of water. It's not the half glass, half full story. This glass represents my mind. The liquid in the glass represents the burdens that I've carried around in my mind that have allowed me to not be successful at certain things. I could hold this glass for a minute, 2 minutes, but I will be 49 years old next month. And I've held on to some burdens for about 40 years. You see how heavy this glass is becoming? So what I invite everyone to do is maybe look at something that you've carried around your life for all your life and just be able to learn to set it down and let it go. Okay? This has been me most of my life. You notice the resemblance? I've got kind of now, that's circumstances. All my life, circumstances, me. I've allowed, not that they have, that's a victim story. I've allowed my circumstances to rule and dictate my life, most of my life. Why would I do that? Well, like I said, this is a personal story. At 9 years old, I was raped by my 16-year-old cousin. That's a terrible thing to have happen. And at that point, I decided I didn't deserve to have good things happen to me. Because how can something like that happen and then I'm allowed to have good things in my life happen? It was very traumatic. So from that point, there's the lack of self-worth. I carried that around almost 40 years. So I'm deciding to set it down and let it go. The other thing that I added to the glass was shame and guilt. I did not share that incident with anyone. I'm living in Denton and I drive home to Paris, Texas, in case you thought maybe it was France from the accent. Drove to Paris, my mom said, "I can't believe this. Your second cousin David is in jail for molesting children." And I started crying. I just lost control of my emotions. At that point forward, I felt responsible for 20 years of children that he molested. I allowed that guilt and shame to occupy my mind for 20 years until I decided to set it down and let it go. Can't imagine what that incident did to me. I was a bodybuilder. And of course, I placed second, third, sixth place. Never won. Of course, I wasn't supposed to win. I was engaged 3 times, never married. Of course, I couldn't allow anything good happen to me. I went to college, made it to my senior year. You know that music from The Price is Right when someone loses? That was my life. I didn't finish college. The Price is Right music always came out whenever I was on the verge of doing something successful. I was into self-sabotage. So how did I reverse that? In 2001, my current wife she said, "We are either going to go through these trainings together or we're going to no longer be." And it's called Millennium 3 Education. And it was lecture and experiential based trainings that were basically like walking around life with a mirror. I got to see how I showed up in life, and I didn't like what I saw. I thought I was the smartest guy in the room. I thought I was the most clever guy, that I had the wool pulled over everyone's eyes. And I was doing to people what I hate being done to me. I talked to people like they were stupid. I was the smartest guy in the room. So I decided, I got lots of feedback, and I decided to make a change because I knew in my heart that's not who I was. So those trainings were instrumental in saving my life. I went through the trainings. I went back as a volunteer. I got accepted into their PhD leadership training program, and guess what? I graduated. I was engaged. Guess what? I got married. I had a kid. I bought a house. I overcame and I adapted and I improvised.